Community and Culture Committee. I declare the meeting open at 6:04 p.m. I would like to acknowledge the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of all lands, waters, and sky in the Georges River area. I pay my respect to elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who live, work, and meet on these lands. I know from Christy we don't have any apology for tonight, right? If yes, can I have a motion to accept apologies and grant leave for absent? We don't have any. Okay. Can I call for a vote for? Oh, okay. So Councillor Natalie Mort has requested to attend the meeting remotely via audio visual link. And
So you need to just call a vote for that one.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Can I call to move apologies for tonight?
You just need to,
Oh,
move on and
okay.
second for.
Move to Councillor Mort attend the meeting remotely. So can I have a mover for that?
I move that be accepted, that Councillor Natalie Mort be allowed to attend remotely.
Okay. Thank you.
And you're seconding? Second, yes.
Yeah. Moved by Councillor Elmere, second by Deputy Mayor. Yeah. Lansbury. Yeah, all in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. So staff and public are reminded that this meeting is being recorded for minute-taking purposes and is also being broadcast live to the public on Council's website in accordance with Section 5 of Council's Code of Meeting Practice. The recording will be made available for Council's website. So tonight, the order of business is as shown in the agenda, which has been made available. Staff and public are reminded that this meeting is open. Doors to the meeting room are to be left open unless the meeting moves into a closed, that means confidential session, according to Section 15 of the Code of Meeting Practice. Only if the meeting moves into a closed session will the public broadcasting of the meeting be suspended. Council's Code of Meeting Practice prohibits the electronic recording of meetings without the express permission of Council. Mobile phones must be turned to silent during the meeting. So Deputy Mayor Councillor Lansbury declares non-significant, non-pecuniary interest on item COM 041-22 Quarterly Community Property Report, 1st of July 2022 to 30th September 2022, for the reason that her son is a committee member of coach at Caspar FC, the sub-licensee for the amenities building and clubhouse, Charles Peary Reserve. He also worked out of the Football St. George office at Jubilee Stadium from time to time, and Football St. George is the head licensee for that facility. Councillor Lansbury will remain in the meeting and take part in consideration and voting on this item. Do any other councillors have any interest to declare? No? Okay. So we move to public forum. There are no speakers registered for tonight's meeting. And then we move to confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. COM 040-22, confirmation of the minutes of last meeting held on 12th of September 2022. Can I call for a mover for this one?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Elmere. Who are going to second it? Thank you. And all in favour, say aye.
Aye.
And we call this one carried. Thank you. Now we move to the committee meeting for tonight. In total, we have 3 items in the agenda. The first one will be COM 041-22, Quarterly Community Property Report from the 1st of July 2022 to 30th September 2022. Before we go to the move and seconder, can I have our staff to introduce for this one? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Thomas.
Through you, Madam Chair, this report for you is for Council to receive and note the quarterly community property report for the period of July 2022 to September 2022. Council manages 63 community properties, the details of which are in attachment 1 of the report. During this period, 3 licenses were executed as outlined in point 7 of the report. Do councillors have any questions on the report?
Is it anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
No? Then I call for a mover. Someone is going to move it. Councillor Ash. How can I call your name?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And
And the APA. Okay, thank you. And can I call for a seconder?
Seconded.
Councillor Elmire.
Could I, sorry for interrupting, but I didn't hear what was just said before it was seconded or put up. Could I just rehear that again?
sorry, Councillor Moore, are you saying you can't hear Thomas?
Hello?
Well, she can't hear anyone, maybe.
Could I
Can you
Can you
hear
hear
us?
us?
just what was and thank you.
I think maybe just give another brief.
Yeah. Can you hear us, Councillor Moore?
Yes, I can now. That'd be great. Thank you.
No problem at all. Councillor Moore, this report before you is for Council to receive and note the quarterly community property report for the period July 2022 to 30th September 2022. Council manages a portfolio of 63 community properties, which is outlined in attachment 1 of the report. During this period, 3 licenses were executed, and that's outlined in point 7 of the report. Those were the key points that I mentioned previously.
Councillor Moore, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes, I can. Thank you.
thank you.
You still just call it.
Yeah, if anyone, all
Councillor Amir.
in favour say aye.
Aye.
Got it carried. The next one will be COM 042-22, establishment of the Georges River Council Sports Advisory Committee. And now, sir, give us,
Through you, Madam Chair.
thank you.
Council
Manager.
resolved at the June 2022 meeting to investigate the establishment of a sports advisory committee. Council officers undertook a review of similar committees at other councils and also attended a committee meeting at neighbouring council. Council's current committees were also used as a benchmark for this. The report before you is for Council to approve the establishment of the Georges River Sports Advisory Committee for a trial period of 1 year to give Council and the relevant sporting bodies an opportunity to gauge suitability of this committee ongoing. A review of the committee will be undertaken after the trial period. The committee will provide a forum for information sharing between the sporting bodies and Council, and also promote cross-code collaboration between sporting bodies so that we can achieve greater utilization of our sporting fields and facilities. The committee will be advisory in nature and will be able to provide recommendations to Council for decision making. They will not be able to direct Council resources. The committee will include 3 councillors as part of the makeup of the committee, which will include 1 chairperson, 1 deputy chairperson. And the committee will also include 15 nominated representatives from the sporting body. It's proposed the frequency for this committee is quarterly and to commence in 2023. And councillors, attached to the report, you'll also find the draft terms of reference. And this terms of reference will be endorsed by the committee if approved by council, it will be endorsed at the first meeting of the committee in 2023. Any questions on the report?
I have some questions.
No problem.
Firstly, 3 councillors get up to 15 sporting body representatives, and I'm really happy to have quite a number of sporting representatives there, but I'm concerned only 3 councillors is really restrictive, but I suspect that there would be more than that would want to be on the committee. And whilst I know they could attend just as an observer, I just think, is there a reason we need to restrict it to 3? Could we not increase it to at least maybe 6?
This was just based, Councillor, on us looking at other committees around the neighbouring councils to see what they have done, and it was around 3 councils that were there on the committee, and then the makeup obviously of the representatives as well as part of that. If you look at the terms that we have recommended there, the quorum includes the need to have 1 councillor definitely in attendance. When anyone is able to attend, it's just in terms of who will be able to actually vote for recommendations to go forward to the council.
Do you not think that maybe if you only have 3 councillors, there could be that time when you've only got 1 councillor available? Like we've got almost a full complement tonight. I'm just concerned that it's a bit limiting to 3 actual. I know they're voting members on an advisory committee, which no doubt would report to this committee.
Yeah, so
it
it'll go-
reports to council.
Yeah,
But is there any reason really that we couldn't increase the numbers in case, like say for example, this goes to council on whenever we're meeting, 31st of October or something,
Yeah.
and we wanted to increase it to the number to 6. Is there a reason really why we couldn't do that, or would we do that here now?
Yeah, so through you, Madam Chair, we could do it at council. If you look at the traffic committee, the flood management committee and other committees within council, the councillors on that are limited. So we've just set it up in the exact same way as the rest of our committees are. That was the mindset behind that. Again, if, I know in other committees, even with standing committees, if councillors are interested, they can go and listen, but they can't vote. So it's just a similar style and structure to our other committees.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe between now and the council meeting, we can talk to each other and see if you might be interested.
I suspect there'll be more than 3 that want to be,
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
thinking.
it's not like traffic, it's not like the floods, it's not like the libraries. I think this is more hands-on, more community.
Yeah, I
So I
think
think more
people's
people
interest
wanna
will be
be,
a bit more peaked than perhaps traffic. No disrespect.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Chair of the traffic committee.
That was the first one I said. More people will want to be on this committee compared to traffic or compared to the flood or compared to anything else,
Yeah.
because it's more people would have an interest, a direct interest in that.
Yeah, well, maybe if we don't need to,
And
we can talk amongst ourselves and see if other councillors do have an appetite to increase it, and if we could move it, change it, leave it, however, once we've done that. I had a couple more questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it'll probably be an EOI process to.
For the community.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
that's fine, and that more information will come back on that. Yeah, on I think it's page 23, there's a table of family representatives to be included in the committee, but not limited to these particular organisations. I'm just curious as to where those organised or sporting groups or associations, where did you get that table?
They're, through you, Madam Chair, they're the list of organisations or groups that our bookings team currently interact with. So whether they have a current lease, licence, arrangement with council, it's from those courts, like sporting codes at the moment.
Board riders? Surf clubs?
Yeah, okay. No, we currently don't, but if there was, I guess that's when you would say that they could come from any of those codes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just concerned, like, that's nice that they're here, but I don't know how
The
many
fishing, yeah,
horse riding organisations there are in the LGA, but I do know that there's an interest in swimming, and we would have swimming clubs. That doesn't appear in here. And also volleyball, which I know Councillor Wang has a special interest in volleyball. So is it possible just to add those?
Yeah, no,
I know that it says not limited to, but
Yeah.
it's just, to me, it's a bit of an omission when we're talking about surf clubs and we don't really have one that I
Yeah.
know of. We might have one, but I don't know about it.
No, that's noted. We'll definitely add those in as this is a draft terms of reference. So the committee, once they were appointed, would then endorse these. But yes, we can definitely
Yeah.
add those in.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just that we do have a number of swimming clubs and volleyball clubs. I mean, there's probably other club sports out there that
Yeah.
we're not even thinking of. But those ones would be the ones I think that might need to be added. But okay, thank you. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no problem. Was there any other questions, councillors?
No, but just going off, I think it's more so about discussing the points that councillor Lansbury raised. Do we defer the recommendation then for the full council meeting to discuss whatever changes you were suggesting, or do we make those changes now and then adopt it at the council meeting?
I'd be happy to make the change now because I think just the group here would recognise that more than 3 councillors might want to participate.
Just by way of example, could I have a show of hands who would like to be on it? There's 4, 5, 6.
Almost.
Well, that's not an
Could I
ad
suggest-
committee either, so we need to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Councillor Moore is saying, can I say something?
Yep, I've got my,
Yeah.
It's not a paid one.
I too would like, Andy.
She'd like to.
8.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you want to amend the recommendation or do you want?
Maybe we.
Because
But what is it? What's the recommendation for this now?
Just to approve the
Yeah.
the trial period. And then to the council appoint the chairperson, the deputy
The
chair.
structure.
So that particular part, we could pull out at, once, I guess you've had other discussions, we could pull it out there, or if you want to amend it now, it's up to you.
I think if we go down the path of saying, for instance, that I'm thinking out loud here, but if we go, mayor is chairing this committee, and then whichever councillor would like to attend when the committees are on, they automatically become part of. Do you know what I mean? Like if 10 people turn up to one of the quarterly things.
Kind of assuming that the mayor's going to want to chair it. He might not want to.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
or he can turn around and then allocate it to
Yeah.
whoever.
Maybe we should, I don't know, like I think we've had a pretty strong indication here that a lot of people are interested in
Yeah.
it. And even if we opened it up to 6 people, that would be 6 people with a vote. It would go to this committee, then to council. So even if we were completely outnumbered by the community representatives at a committee level, say we only had 4 councillors that turned up to vote and we had 10 of them and they voted in a different way, we'd still, you know, without sort of being, don't want to sound disrespectful to them, but there might be other things at play that they have not considered because people who are going to represent their sport are doing it with a particular interest in mind, their own. And I think part of our discussions that we've had with the community groups is they want to have say on stuff. I think it's heavily weighed to them than the councillors. So maybe we need to discuss it a bit more, do you think? I don't want to defer it though. I think I'd really like to move it forward.
Yeah,
I think if we go, like, for instance, on that point, like, say, mayor chairs it, deputy mayor chair, is the deputy chair or whatever it is, and then it's open to all councillors to attend, right? That way you know, all members
As
of
voting.
council, right, in attendance can become voting members of the committee. Then whenever the committee is held,
So hang on, people who attend become a voting member. Is that
any
possible?
councillor,
Councillors.
the councillor that attends becomes a voting member of that meeting.
Is that
It's an
what called?
advisory thing as well, so it'd be limited in its scope of what it can
Oh, you're
actually
saying
recommend.
that, you're saying that the chair and the deputy chair are separate to the committee members?
No, they are the committee, they are, but it's chaired by the obvious leaders in the council chamber. So the mayor being the chair and the mayor of the council would have a greater scope of understanding of what needs to happen in accordance with his deputy. And therefore, if the mayor cannot attend, the deputy mayor then just chairs the meeting. And whichever councillors attend are merely just, like if they attend the meeting every quarter, they become a voting delegate at that meeting.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
Yeah.
open to all the councillors, all 15 councillors, right? Whoever can attend,
Well, I mean,
can
they can
attend.
anyway. I just don't want, I don't think we should overcomplicate it though, you know what
It's,
I mean?
I think it's the
Yeah.
simplest way of doing it.
Rather than just increase the voting delegates.
To
We
15.
can also do a briefing on this, if you're thinking there's enough interest, across.
I reckon there would be. I think everyone.
I reckon
would be.
15
Well,
people
eight-
want to be on there.
8 out of 8 here.
Because we can show you some types of, I guess, draft agendas and things like that as well, so that you might get a feel of, what you would be voting on, or, it is advice, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily, it's not making decisions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But it's also not directing any finances, is it?
no,
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 So just as an
purely
example,
advisory.
the committee meeting that we had attended, the discussion was the information sharing to the sporting bodies, and also an opportunity for them to, you know, seek questions and clarification. But one of the topics that was presented was the child safe organizations the sporting bodies need to adhere to, and giving them an update on that area as an example of that. So
Yeah.
that's some of the kind of information sharing, you know, and less on things to do with, you know, maintenance.
Field
fees or
allocation,
yeah,
Things like that.
I think these are all questions that definitely would be beneficial for everyone to hear. So
Yeah. okay.
definitely, I think deferring it to a briefing would be a wise choice. Because that way it'll actually give a
Everyone.
greater understanding of what it actually means to be part of the committee. And
Can we get a briefing soon? I'm just
Yeah.
worried that we've often got a really full schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really, I was just, we can try and fit something in before the council meeting, is that what you're saying?
Or even, it's not going to happen overnight anyway, because we still have to go out to the community for reps, etc. I just don't want to stall it, because I think it's a really good initiative that we need to move forward with. So instead of sort of locking in things by endorsing terms of reference, which still might need to be a little bit fluid, because I think the sticking point is going to be the number of councillors, that council appoint the chairperson, deputy person, and other nominated councillor. That's fine. We can still discuss that at the council meeting. If people have time to look at it in its totality before the council meeting for a discussion, maybe that would be sufficient. And if we can have a briefing between now and then, it's unlikely, but even if we can't, in the near future after that, just so we keep moving it forward. I don't want to, you know, stall it.
Yeah, so would you like to make an amendment and delete B, and then whoever is on the committee would then endorse the terms of reference? And it's
Yeah.
not that council endorse these terms of
Yeah,
reference?
I reckon that's
Because
good.
that's got the number of voting, is that?
And then maybe, so you've got A, B and C, have you?
Yeah, so it would just be.
And then
A.
maybe D could be something about a workshop, or,
Yeah, I can just do it, yeah, I mean, I can do a briefing. do that now.
you could almost give a briefing before our council meeting on,
Yeah, the
on
31st,
Monday.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
So
And that
you just
could be better.
defer the recommendation tonight for the full council meeting. And then gets given a briefing, and then we can adopt it on the night. If you want to do that.
I think if you put it up, you can pull it out on the
Yeah.
night to do that, and then I can do the briefing before
Yeah.
the council meeting.
Mm.
If that's.
because we're not actually locking into it, like we're not, if we remove the bit about endorsing the terms of reference, that gives it a little bit more leeway with it. And instead of deferring it to council, let's just move it in that amended form
Mhm.
and talk about it with our colleagues and
Okay, so
find each other to get
Well,
it.
that's fine, I'll just commit to
Do
doing
we
a
appoint-
briefing prior to the council meeting.
do we make the appointment now?
Appointment.
Yeah, you've got it.
Pardon me.
No, because this is just
We're recommending that the
the
council.
council, and then the council
appoint
appoint
it.
it.
Yeah,
And then this would then go into the normal schedule of when you vote for all other committee meetings.
which is September, which we've just
You've just
had.
missed it, that's
Yeah.
why we've had to put it up separately, but
Yeah.
otherwise it would be in line with those.
Okay, well, if we don't
Yeah.
need to make any appointments now, then, yeah, as it is,
Yeah, it's
is
just
fine.
to recommend
Yeah.
that the
You can almost leave it all the
sports
same.
committee
Even
established.
with the
Because we
terms of
still would have
reference.
to go out to EOIs or whatever to get community people on there
Yeah.
anyhow, so there's a bit of time to nut out those details, I reckon. But as long as we're not going to sit on it and it doesn't progress forward, I reckon we should move it in that form tonight, and we can completely change it if we need to at the council meeting, but I think the structure is there. I think we're all in agreement. We all want a sporting advisory committee, don't we, by the looks of it, so.
Okay, so we'll just tweak the nuts and bolts and I'll do a briefing prior to the council meeting.
Yeah, that would be
Yep.
excellent.
Okay, no problem.
So sorry, can I just through Madam Chair, I can ask a question. So because of the enormous interest in this committee, Sam also indicated, so it will be almost a super committee. So if it's chaired by mayor and deputy mayor, so this committee is different from the traffic committees. It's almost like subcommittee, but this sports committee, because there's so much interest, so it will be a higher level committee, right? Does it report to this committee?
It still comes to this committee.
Still an advisory committee now.
But if it's a mayor and a deputy mayor, such as Sam, so it's almost even higher than this committee.
So through you, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
that we haven't made the determination if they would need to be elected, the representatives, but also it's still an advisory committee. So they're not making decisions and it needs to follow through as the flood committee would or the traffic committee. We keep looking at you, you keep rolling your eyes. But it would still be an advisory committee. And that's what I mean. I think if I do a briefing and we can talk through some of the agenda items, you'll see that decisions aren't made in that forum.
I just got a strong feeling this advice committee may even grow into a proper decision-making committee. Could be, right?
No, it would still
Well,
be
no,
decided on
yeah.
the floor of council. So all decisions would be
Yeah.
decided on the floor of
I know.
council and come through this committee.
I think it will be quite robust in the discussions that you haven't on that committee, but I think ultimately, whatever suggestions are made, they are merely suggestions, and that's
Yeah, they're
a feedback
Yeah.
that then gets presented to council, which is the overarching body that would make the ultimate decision.
Of course. So it's the same as this.
Yeah, and would come quarterly after the meetings. The minutes would come here quarterly.
And councillors also, part of the recommendation is for it to be a trial for 1 year. So
Yes, of
that
course.
1 year that
Yeah.
it's reviewed to see where the community stands and significance.
And maybe we'd tweak it after 12 months if
Exactly.
we found that it was, needing more or less of something,
Exactly.
so,
So I think that's good having that there as a trial because it gives us that
yeah.
opportunity to do that.
Would that be one full 12 months or up
Yeah.
until September?
No, so we'll start, the recommendation is to start from next year and then it would be for the full 12.
Okay,
Yeah.
even though September is when we,
Yeah, that's a good point, Lou.
we elect who's on various committees.
Well, okay, so there would have been 3, I guess, meetings at that point, and then you would be electing whether that was.
So will the trial period then go to September?
No, I think we need, as council officers, if we're looking at the overall productivity, get the sports, the feedback from the sporting organisations as well. A full 12 months, and if we've had 4 meetings, it'll give us more information in order to make either, give feedback, tweaks, change the format, change the terms of reference, whatever it might be. I'm not sure how many floodplain meetings there's been and things like that off the top of my head, but I think that elections of certain things, yeah.
That's the representative of the flood.
I'm looking at him, but he's not making eye contact.
So I'm happy to move what we suggested. The council, are we leaving Bean then? Or recommitting Bean?
council's
I
not
think you
gonna-
just leave it as it is.
My understanding when I first read it would be that once you've kind of got all your ducks lined up, that's when you'd be appointing the chairperson, deputy and other councillors, because you've got to go through all that process, as Christina said, it's a long process to go out. We've got Christmas coming up in a couple of months and that always knocks out quite a few weeks. Sorry to frighten everybody, but true. And if we're aiming for the first committee to be convened really in September 23, I hadn't thought of that. I actually thought it would happen before.
No,
then, but-
March 23. So the
Oh.
first, if we're having them quarterly, I think Lou's concern is that in September, there may have only been 3, not 4 in order to elect new representatives, if we're putting them in line with the other committee elections.
Which would have to,
I'll move the recommendation.
I'll second
Okay,
that.
so councillor Albion moved it. Can we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Councillor Lukaschewski. And based on this ABCD4 recommendation, so all in favour, say aye. Okay.
We'll just wait. Can Councillor Moore, can you
hear us?
Yes, I'm also in the eye.
You're in favour. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So you can carry it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We move to the next item, which is the COM 043-22, Georgia River Council Community Grants Program 2022 to 2023, round 1. Can our staff give us some briefing?
Through you, Madam Chair. Councillors, this report is about the Georgia River Council Community Grants Program 22-23 round 1. So council is asking for the funding recommendations resulting from the community grants round 1, as detailed in attachment 1 be adopted. So we received 43 eligible applications in this round, with a total amount being requested of 541,705. The applications were assessed by the assessment panel, and we proposed full or partial support for 24 applications with a total proposed funding of $188,286, and that the remaining unallocated funds for that round of $11,714 be added to the funding allocation for round 2 of the community grants. If anyone has any questions, so this was presented last week in a briefing session, I think it was last Tuesday. If anyone does have any questions about any of the applications or the assessment, if you could let me know, we'll have to go into closed session because the information is confidential.
Yeah. Is any councillors having any questions about?
Councillor Moore, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll have to move into closed session.
Okay, so at this stage of the meeting, time being at 6:37 p.m., I hereby advise that the meeting will move into committee of the whole to allow consideration of a matter in closed session in accordance with Section 10A of the Local Government Act 1993. Accordingly, members of the press and public are excluded from the closed session, and access to the correspondence Thank you.
Back on the report.
Yeah. So we back to the original report. So is any councillor going to move the item?
Move, Madam Chair.
Second it.
You want to move it?
Second.
Who-
So you
I'm
moved
just
it?
trying to.
Okay.
Who was that seconded by?
Councillor Amby Haberha.
Who was that seconded by?
Councillor Amby Haberha.
I behave her. Yes.
Thank you.
Councillor Kunjaski.
Thank
Am
you.
I right? Okay, cool. And all in favour, say aye. Carried. So now there is no further business on the agenda. So I declare the meeting closed at 6:44.
Oh, what a long meeting.